When people hear SCP, they think of monsters, anomalies, and uncontainable horrors that threaten to destroy humanity. But what if I told you, some of the SCPs locked in Foundation vaults right now might actually be our only hope of survival? Nuclear war, global pandemics, rogue AI, climate collapse. These are just a few of the doomsday scenarios hanging over our heads. But buried deep within the SCP Foundation are beings and objects with the power to stop it all. To reset the Earth. To rebuild what's broken, or protect us from what's to come. So why are they locked up? Today, we're diving into 5 SCPs that could save the world, and why the Foundation fears them too much to set them free. 1. SCP-2000, Deucalion. The machine that can restart civilization. Beneath Yellowstone National Park lies a bunker. But this is no ordinary fallout shelter. This is SCP-2000, codename Deucalion. What does it do? It rebuilds humanity. Literally. SCP-2000 is a self-sustaining megastructure designed to kick into action after an extinction-level event. It stores DNA from millions of humans, thousands of animals, and can recreate them using advanced bioprinting tech. It can resurrect an entire civilization from scratch within just a few decades, complete with false memories to preserve continuity. Sounds perfect, right? Here's the problem: no one really understands who built it. Even the SCP Foundation only inherited the system and doesn't fully grasp the AI logic behind its decisions. What if it resurrects dictators? What if it reshapes human history to suit its own version of stability? And most disturbing of all, what if the world we're in right now is already version 7 or 8, and we've been rebooted before? SCP-2000 is a second chance, but one you may not remember taking. 2. SCP-343, God. Yes. That's what he calls himself. SCP-343 is an old man. Friendly, calm, polite, and able to defy all known laws of physics. He can appear anywhere, pass through walls, materialize objects out of nothing, and claims to have created the universe. Foundation personnel who interact with him often feel overwhelmed by a sense of peace and purpose. He says he's here to observe, and he seems to know everything, including things no one should know. Could he stop a war? End hunger? Reverse mass extinction? Maybe. Probably. So why isn't he doing it? The SCP Foundation classifies him as safe, but that doesn't mean they trust him. SCP-343 is unpredictable. He claims benevolence, but his motives remain a mystery. Is he really God? Or something that took that form to influence us? When offered questions about global catastrophes, he often responds with a smile and says, "Sometimes the storm is the cure, not the illness." Let that sink in. 3. SCP-999, the Tickle Monster. The happiest creature in the world, and maybe the most dangerous. Imagine a puddle of orange goo that smells like candy and makes anyone who touches it burst into uncontrollable joy. That's SCP-999. It loves hugs. It giggles. It plays. And more importantly, it heals. SCP-999 has been shown to cure mental illness, lift suicidal thoughts, and even cause violent SCPs, like the notorious SCP-682, to calm down and laugh. That's right. A creature that's been called unkillable was once so relaxed by 999's presence, it forgot its urge to destroy everything. So what's the danger? Influence. Some researchers believe SCP-999 is too powerful, not physically, but emotionally. It overrides free will by inducing euphoria. If released, it could become a drug-like addiction. Entire governments could try to weaponize it for crowd control, or worse, use it as a form of mass compliance. It's a being of pure good, but even light can blind if it's too bright. 4. SCP-073, Cain. The man who feels your pain, and returns it. SCP-073 is a humanoid male, Middle Eastern in appearance, with steel skin and glowing blue eyes. He goes by the name Cain, yes, that Cain. What makes him unique is a terrifying anomaly: any harm inflicted upon him is instantly reflected back at the attacker. If you punch him, you break your own arm. If you shoot him, the bullet wounds appear on you. He is completely immune to damage, while returning it with flawless accuracy. Now imagine this power used in defense of humanity. SCP-073 is intelligent, cooperative, and surprisingly gentle. He reads philosophy, writes poetry, and deeply regrets what he once did. Some researchers believe Cain's power could serve as the ultimate deterrent. A living shield against war, terrorism, or violence. An indestructible peacekeeper. But there's a catch, actually, too. First, Kane refuses to leave the Foundation. He claims he must never be free again. Second, and most unnerving, is what happens to plant life around him. All vegetation withers and dies in his presence. Crops rot. Trees curl inwards. Earth itself becomes sterile. What if this is a trade? A balance? What if his immortality and defensive power come at the cost of Earth's fertility? The Foundation keeps him locked away, not because he's a threat, but because the price of using him might be too high. 5. SCP-6107, the Eternal Guardian, hypothetical/original. The protector who watches us from outside time. SCP-6107 doesn't exist on any official Foundation file. That's because it's only seen in patterns. A shadow on satellite images. A figure walking calmly in disaster footage. A presence that appears seconds before catastrophe and disappears just as quickly. Some researchers believe SCP-6107 is not a creature, but a force. One that moves between timelines, correcting events. Preventing the worst-case scenarios. It's credited with nudging world leaders away from nuclear launches, disabling AI systems seconds before they go rogue, or even waking people up seconds before fatal accidents. The few who claim to have seen it describe the same thing, a humanoid figure in robes of shifting stars, face hidden, voice calm. When asked who, or what, it is, the response is always the same. I am the end that watches the beginning. Is SCP-6107 an angel? A time traveler? A being from another dimension preserving a version of Earth that works? We don't know. But the SCP Foundation does everything it can to keep it hidden. Because if the world knew there was something watching over us, something intervening to stop Armageddon, what would we do? Would we get reckless? Would we stop fighting for peace, knowing someone, or something, would fix our mistakes? SCP-6107 might be the only reason we're still alive. But letting the world know might ensure that we don't survive much longer. The final question, should we trust these saviors? Here's the twist. Every one of these SCPs could save us. Stop the apocalypse. Heal our wounds. Even rebuild humanity. But what if we're not meant to be saved? The SCP Foundation doesn't just lock things away because they're dangerous. Sometimes, they contain things because we're not ready. Because power, no matter how benevolent, can be twisted. SCP-2000 could reset humanity, but also erase it. SCP-343 might be God, or something pretending to be. SCP-999 spreads joy, but could enslave us with happiness. SCP-073 protects, but poisons the Earth. SCP-6107 guides us, but only from the shadows. In the end, the apocalypse may not come from a nuclear bomb, a deadly virus, or an alien invasion. It may come from a choice, our choice, to open a door that should have stayed closed. And the scariest part? We may already have.